Okay, Dynamite Delight. Now, I'm going to say this ahead of time, two things. One, there's no way I'm going to cover absolutely everything that happened in this show. It's a lot of content. And this will go on beyond 30 minutes. 20 or 30 minutes easily. And I don't want to do that. Another is because my allergies are killing me. I took my medicine and I feel drowsy and I know that I'm going to fall out. And I know people say, why don't you wait until tomorrow? No! I want to do this now because I love doing it when it's fresh in my mind. So if I seem either drowsy and I seem to have a headache, and if I'm missing something, now you know. I got to do it. I care about the people who watch these videos, so I'm honest, okay? So I got to say this. If you compare this show to NXT, it destroys it. Now, I did watch most of NXT Tuesday. I had to. I wanted to know what's going to happen to the NXT title with Karrion Kross because he got a separated shoulder. He's out. And what happened to Keith Lee, who looked like a doofus. I wanted to know how they're going to deal with it. And the Fatal 4-Way, when it comes to Ciampa, Gargano, when it comes to Adam Cole and Finn Balor, is a good match. And I'm sure it's going to be good when the time comes. But this show sucks. Flat out sucks. You can see the influence of Vince. And I want to make this clear. I know a lot of people still like the product. But when you look at NXT, it is not the way Triple H wants to run it. It is how Vince wants to influence Triple H to do it the way he likes it. There is no way that this is not a Vince situation. Flat out, this is because of Vince. Now, the reason I'm bringing up NXT is because this show was way better. Opening was the Gauntlet. We got 3 matches. You had the Bucks versus the Natural Nightmares. You had the Bucks versus Best Friends, who basically got the win because of Hangman Page. And I'll get to him in a minute if I don't forget. And then you had FTR surgically destroying Best Friends because of Chuck getting his leg messed up in the very opening with the Natural Nightmares. Now, this is the simplest way to say it because there was just too much going on in this match. Well, not in the match, the Gauntlet. There's just a lot there. The first match was good. The second match with Hangman interfering made it interesting. And seeing the Bucks pissed off at Hangman Page goes along with what happened later in the night. And then seeing the surgical, you see them in my face. You see Telly with the FTR really makes me wish they do this more often with managers. You just don't get it on the national stage much anymore. And it's sad to see. But seeing this gives me at least a little hope. I loved it. I loved seeing Telly with these guys. Now, you know what I didn't love? 8-man tag. I'm sorry. Seeing Brian Pillman Jr., I loved it. Seeing him going from the Major League Wrestling to I think he went to NWA at one point, briefly. But now being in AEW and being on Dark, I'm high. I got high hopes for him. I'm hoping they'll push him because he's got character. But the thing that gets me, and I didn't speak about it last week because I really wanted to find out what happened with Kingston. How far they were going to go with Kingston. Where they were going to use Kingston. Because he's motivating the Butcher and the Blade. And he's they're in my face. I know the image is a little messed up, but they're in my face. Look, Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade working together in an 8-man tag, they always generally win, except for that one time. But when you separate them on the main roster, on Dynamite, the Butcher and the Blade never win. Yes, when it comes to Phoenix and Pentagon Jr., they do win on and off. But I've never seen the Butcher and Blade win once on Dynamite. Dark, that's an entirely different situation. They probably won a whole bunch of times. But Dynamite, no. So seeing Kingston being the motivating factor is a good thing. The match itself is not the key here. This is about putting over all 5 of these guys and going into All Out and the casino battle royal. And you can see how good of a talker Kingston is. He just motivates. He's money when he talks. And I enjoyed that. Now, we had one brief segment, because I don't have the shot of it, of Darby Allin jumping off of a bridge. Let that sink in. Do you still doubt me that this is not the second coming of Mick Foley? A Mick Foley would do something like that. He's not a thrill seeker. He doesn't care. He loves pain. He is Mick Foley. Someone tell Mick Foley to go to AEW and put this guy over as the second coming of Mick Foley. He needs to. But I had to say that. It was that profound. Now, Lance Archer destroys a jobber. Annihilates him. And then we got Taz coming out with Starks and the Destroyer, known as Brian Cage, setting up what's going at the Battle Royal at All Out. I think I would have liked to see Cage and Archer actually interact, but it's good they did not, because traditionally, all the time, they always do that, but seeing them not do it is the wisest thing to do. Keep these monsters separated aside until the Battle Royal. Let them go at it there. And Darby Allin came out and attacked Ricky Starks. I knew they have to do something with Ricky. I knew they're going to do something with Darby. And there you go. Now, Thunder Rosa had her segment. Unfortunately, I did not see all of it. If there was something extra before the contract signing. But I had a glitch on my system. And I lost my feed. That wasn't because of the live stream. That was because I accidentally pressed the... There is a certain key combination you can press to get a screenshot which you see. But if you do the wrong combination, you can mess up your web browser, which I did by accident. So I did not see if there was something extra that was done with the Thunder Rosa segment. Other than what I saw with Billy Corgan, well, he didn't show up, but he was talking. And he said when NWA approached him, he was all for it. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say NWA was going to do something with AEW? NWA rebuilding itself as a phoenix, and AEW building itself as a... Well, you got a new phoenix in the NWA, and you have a recurring phoenix in a... Well, that just sounds backwards. I really am sleepy. Let me put it like this. Both these companies can benefit from working together. I hope Sheeta loses and Thunder Rosa actually has the title. Let these two companies work together. Let NWA personnel work in AEW. And when AEW can keep this up long enough, that NWA can go back on again, because there's no way they're going to go back on this year. They're just not. I'm hoping they'll do vice versa. Let NWA sponsor some AEW talent and vice versa. Let it be like this. It's just me. I did see Sheeta. I did see Thunder Rosa. And I'm glad they are going to do this match. But I'm hoping Thunder Rosa does win. But I doubt it. But this is what I'm hoping for. Let both titles be held by Thunder Rosa. It will help both companies. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Let's see here. The Dark Order had their moment. The Dark Order with Brody Lee looked dominant. And Brody Lee, Mr. Brody Lee, made it very clear. I am dominant. He didn't say in these words, but I'm saying it like this. He made himself look dominant. He made sure that his members were in control of themselves because he knocked one out. And he brought out a coffin to indicate the destruction of a Cody and the Nightmare family. Let that sink in for a minute. You can see the picture of the coffin. This is not the first time someone brought out a coffin. They've been doing that for years. But seeing it's done in disrespect, I'm alright with it. Now, we got Anna Jade being sponsored briefly. I believe I got a shot of her. She's in my face. Now, another female, I can't remember. She was supposed to be the Brazilian one. She's on Dark. I don't know if I have a picture of her, but they're trying to get her to be brought into the fold of the Dark Order, which is a good thing. Now, the situation here that I'm not mentioning is that the Nightmare family came out. They got wiped out along with SCU, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona, aka D. Zack Ryder. The only reason I'm mentioning at least some of this is because this is about Matt Cardona. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. When it comes down to it, Matt is going to be the focus. Because Cody's gone. He's not there for now. Probably going to do some executive work. But let's put it in this respect. Seeing Matt being pushed is actually a good thing. I want to see him be pushed. I want to see something for him. You guys send me below if you don't mind seeing Matt possibly winning the TNT title eventually. I don't think it's going to happen now. I'm hoping it's not going to be rushed, but you never know. The Bucks facing Hangman Page. They were mad at him. They hate him now, and he's out of the Elite. Now, what does this mean? I don't know. They could be making the new... With Telly there, they may make the new Four Horsemen. I just don't know. But we will find out eventually. Tell me how you feel about the Elite breaking up right now. Will it work? Will it not work? I don't know. Big Swole, I gotta mention this. Big Swole versus Rebel, or Reba, and Penelope Forbes. If she wins the match against them. It was supposed to be a handicap match with 3 people. It's supposed to be Forbes, Reba, as well as Britt Baker. But Britt was in the wheelchair and she made it very clear. If you beat these lovelies, you can have me at All Out in any match you want. And the match really just felt telegraphed. Not because that it was obvious that Big Swole was going to win. It was because if Britt Baker had not been out there, it might have been a little more surprising. If you did maybe a mini gauntlet for the women that basically Britt said you got to go through Reba and then you got to go through Penelope and then maybe Sabian, because she did wipe him out by 1 punch. She knocked his block off. But Big Swole wins. So we don't know what the stipulation is going to be, but eventually we'll hear probably next week. Yeah. Finally. Allergies. I'm fine, guys. The final match, which was really rushed. Tables match. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. Look, guys, they should never put this on the show. They could have left this for next week. Because it was less than 10 minutes left. And most of that match had to be picture-in-picture. Sammy got cut open. You saw Matt go through a table. Sammy went through a table. You see Sammy get his head cut open. And by the time it was all over, and it was a damn rush job, which I don't agree with, Sammy won. But in the end, we didn't win. We didn't win that match. There's no way you can enjoy that match. It was a throwaway match that should never have been done between Sammy and Matt Hardy. Yes, at the end of it, you did have Y2J, who had been on commentary the entire time, get wiped out to a certain extent at first by a Orange Cassidy. And then they started fighting one another. This was a wild one. I don't know if that's the right name for this. I'm hoping it's the right name, but this was a wild thing. And it's way better than NXT. Flat out. Now, I don't agree with the 8-man tag, and I don't agree with the last match. I just don't. Big Swole did look like it was very telegraphed. Wasn't too fond of it. But it was what it was. This still is a far superior product than NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, flat out. And the Thunderdome is a piece of garbage because if you hear, even at 10% capacity, a 10% of the fans in that arena still outstrips anything the Thunderdome can bring. And particularly the Thunderdome had someone dressed as a KKK. You had Mario. You had Chris Benoit twice. I saw it. Someone took some screenshots. If you look at Just Alex, someone put it in his Twitter feed showing Chris Benoit twice. A huge picture of his face and then a smaller picture. Why? Why did they think this was going to work? Did they actually think people are going to actually care? You got some stupid morons who will do stupid things. Hell, Chris Benoit has not been seen on television for 13 years. That is the first time you see Chris Benoit on TV since 2007, since the murders and the suicides. That was not smart of them. Even if they edit it out now, it's stupid. But just me, you guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.